Probably one of the best rivalries in the city when it comes to the football field. Great cut up the middle. He's got some space. Slips a couple tackles. Rodriguez to the pylon for the touchdown.
Excellent pass, but just as good a catch.
Joel Pastrana will not be caught.
Stopped at the 3, kept on churning, and finally got into the end zone.
Lambert breaks free. Jonathan Lambert up the middle. He's going to win the game. Throwing it up to Exelholm. What a catch.
We've seen some amazing games, but that was
one of the best we've seen in a long time. Hello, Boston. Welcome to the Manning Field in Lynn as we bring you the North Division 7 sectional finals as the 2-seed Brighton Bengals take on the 1-seeded St. Mary's Spartans. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. Alan, when we get to sectional brackets and we get to state tournaments, sometimes the seating's all over the place. But in this particular bracket, we got 1 and 2 taking on each other here tonight.
No, when you saw the bracket come out, as you mentioned, it looked, if you watch football all season, it looked like it was going to be Brighton and St. Mary's. And at this point, it's like two locomotives coming together.
Coming to a halt.
I mean, it's amazing how the two games to get here have gone. I mean, St. Mary's has been unbelievable. They basically 2 shutouts. Not only that, they've had 2 big scoring games, 90-0. Brighton not too far behind. Brighton's only allowed 12 points in their 2 games.
That's right.
And they've scored over 60. So, like I said, 2 locomotives.
Yeah.
They can play defense. They can play offense. They have star players on both sides of the football. The only difference is fall weather finally decided to come, right?
Right.
So
fall or winter.
We got some cold football weather here tonight.
No question. It is in the 30s, probably dip into the 20s as the night goes on. We talk about the St. Mary's Spartans first. They come in undefeated, and one of the biggest reasons for that is their quarterback, Calvin Johnson. He is an outstanding football player for the Spartans team.
First of all, 6'1", 195, and they say he's all muscle. I can believe it. Last year, he was the league most valuable player. So
That's
he's
right.
a reigning most valuable player. He's so good that they had no hesitation moving him from tailback to quarterback this season, and he's still probably the biggest offensive threat.
Total stud, 19 rushing touchdowns this year, 8 passing TDs for Calvin Johnson. Meanwhile, on the other side, a lot of players we could talk about for the Brighton Bengals, but Jose Vargas has had a very good postseason. Great game last week against Latin Academy. He's our spotlight player.
Jose really set things off. He had a huge run for his first touchdown. And speed, we talked about Brighton's speed, and you always talk about how many players they have. And that's exactly the case. You see Vargas, he'll get a pitch from the backfield. He knows how to use his blockers, get himself to the corner. This is the run I was talking about. Is he popped a 97-yarder. Latin Academy Dragons could not catch him. Here he is again in the earlier game as he was able to run right through O'Brien without any problems. So Jose, one of the players that St. Mary's will be keying on, similar to how Brighton will be keying on Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, had 145 yards last week and a rushing touchdown. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns this season for the Brighton Bengals. He is that every down back that the Bengals rely upon. Now, for more on this game, we're going to go down to our sideline reporter, John Skudris, who has an update for us. John, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. For the Brighton Bengals, the big daunting task today will be defending that spectacular double-wing offense for the St. Mary's Spartans. Coach Abraham said that during practice, he's utilizing his scout team to bring some of those schemes in front of the offense. Whichever quarterback is in today, they're going to have a tough time against the stellar defense for St. Mary's as well. Well, for the Spartans, it's a cold night out here. They're going to have their hands full with Quincy Taylor, Jared Clark, but it's all about Calvin Johnson. 31 touchdowns last year as a wingback, converted to quarterback this year. What do you do as an encore? Only led St. Mary's to an undefeated season, almost 400 points on offense. It's going to be a great game. We're excited for it down here. I know you guys are as well. Back to you.
Thanks very much, John. And certainly we look at these two teams, both high-powered offenses in sort of different ways. You talk about the double wing. Brighton used to run the double ring years ago.
And they want to go back to it. They want to go back.
Yeah, a couple of years.
JV is actually running it now. They want to go back to that double wing.
We're just about set to go here at the Manning Field in Lynn as the St. Mary's Spartans will be receiving. They're in the all-navy uniforms with the white trim. Meanwhile, Brighton in the white uniforms with the orange trim. As we mentioned, the top 2 seeds in this bracket, St. Mary's 1 coming in at undefeated. Brighton, the 2 seed, 6-3 overall on the season.
Well, looks a little like the NFL with the Thursday Night Football with the solid uniforms. Tops and bottoms.
So Calvin Johnson, who's the quarterback for St. Mary's, such a good athlete. He's back there to receive.
He's all everything, because we didn't mention the fact he's an excellent defensive player, too.
No question, coming up in that safety spot.
He's a big hitter with that 195 pounds, and we'll see how Brighton is going to try to play against him. Obviously, you key on him, but it's one of those things where St. Mary's has a number of different ways of getting him the football.
Gerard Clark performing the kicking duties, and we are underway here at Manning Field. Johnson fields it right around the 4-yard line. Has some room up the middle, now tries to cut it to the outside. Calvin Johnson down the sideline up to the 45, and they'll mark him down at the 48-yard line. So good return there from last year's Catholic Central Large MVP.
Well, you see him being very patient, watching his block, looking for an opening. Cuts it out to the sideline. Got in between two of the covers guys for Brighton. Gets the ball close to midfield. Good start for St. Mary's.
Let's take a look at the starters for St. Mary's. You got Johnson at the quarterback position, Brumfield and Freeman in the backfield. Scott and Henry are the receivers. Henry, the tight end. Scott is actually a wingback, so he'll get some carries as well. Here on first down, carry to the outside. Nice little cut there from Brumfield as he makes his way up to the 46-yard line of Brighton, so a 7-yard pickup on first down.
You see this right of your screen, you're going to see Vargas come up. He sort of whiffed on this tackle attempt here. He's going to go right by. There he goes. And allows big gain for the first down. So first play of the game, first down.
Yeah, they had the I think they have the chains incorrect here, because they had the ball right around the 48 of St. Mary's, and they're at about the 46 of Brighton. So that should have only been, that's right. So this should be second down.
Right, second down, should about 2.
Correction, second down and 2.
Second down and 2 now for the St. Mary's Spartans.
Is it second down?
I'll tell you, it's a tight formation.
Yeah, watch play action.
Again, Brunfield, a man in motion. They had 2 men in motion, so that's coming back.
It's going to be a...
Here comes Marlon Scott to the outside. He's going to walk into the end zone, but that's coming back. That was an illegal formation.
Well, they had 2
by
guys.
The St. Mary's Spartans.
Like you said, you caught it, Pat. They had 2 guys in motion, so that's going to come back 5 yards, make it a second and about 7. But again, that just, I mean, as the play went on, it just shows you the explosiveness of the St. Mary's team.
It's really 3 guys that are going to carry the ball tonight for St. Mary's. You got Johnson, the quarterback. Then you have Brumfield and Scott, who are the 2 wing backs. Those are your 3 main ball carriers.
The problem is trying to guess before snap which one's going to be, because you can get fooled pretty easily.
We were talking earlier about how Brighton wants to go back to the double wing over the next couple of seasons, because they think they have the personnel to do that.
Definitely do, because they have so many running back. Every year they have, the last couple of years they've had 4 or 5 capable running backs. And that's without us even knowing who's on the JV team. So there must be some players, young players on the JV team, that they're projecting to move up.
Yeah, they also must have a quarterback waiting in the wings who can really run the football. Here on second down, scissor play here for St. Mary's. That's Scott again with the carry. Makes a nice cut, then loses the football. Ball is loose, and we'll see who recovered. We had players from both jerseys down there, and it was St. Mary's who was able to hang on.
I think he was able to scramble back to get it. Again, scissor play, inside. Look for the open fields. That they live for that open field to get into the safety position. The ball got knocked out actually twice. Look at it, came out twice, and St. Mary's alert enough to get it back.
They're coming back this
like
way
you said, Pat, it's going to be Scott, Brumfield, or Johnson.
No, he definitely didn't fill. That's for Sap on your side.
So after the big run by Scott, first down for the St. Mary's at the 25. Here comes Johnson on the quarterback sweep, trying to get to the edge, and he is strung out of bounds by the Bengals, but a nice pickup there on first down, gain of 8 after being shoved out of bounds by Jose Vargas.
It's almost like everything goes outside, so obviously the defensive ends are going to be huge for Brighton. They've got to try to contain and force the runners back to the middle of the football field. So far, they've not been able to do that.
Second down and 2, off the Brighton 17-yard line.
Hey, the only thing we can do is put those boys inside, walk those linebackers out, go with that 4-4 with them up.
Second down and 2 now for the St. Mary's Spartans. As they hand off to Brumfield, up the middle, and he's tripped up right around the 10, down at the 8.
See, the key to how St. Mary's runs this, the first ball fake really gets the defense to react, and then that opens up a gap. Again, excellent blocking inside. The secondary, Vargas that time, able to come up and make the tackle. But again, if you're Brighton, you don't want your defensive backs making too many of these tackles when you're running from scrimmage.
First and goal now for St. Mary's, and did they get in? Yes, they did. Touchdown, St. Mary's, Brumfield with the score.
Well, they moved it around. Scott, Brumfield, and Johnson all carried. This time a straight pitch. Oh, excellent blocking up front.
Looked like Judea Freeman had a tough time making the tackle there for the Bengals.
Yeah, all the momentum was going forward for St. Mary's. They come out, they use quick snap counts. They try to catch your defense either off balance or out of position.
So now the Spartans will try for the 2-point conversion. They run the scissor play again, and Scott goes in for the score. I thought two guys were in motion that time as well, but
it was close enough that no flag came out. Yes, it is. Yeah. There was movement. I'm not sure how I missed that, but
sometimes the refs will give a team a little bit of leeway if it's just a hair, but that seemed like it was a pretty blatant 2 men in motion
especially
penalty.
Since he was the ball carrier. Scott that time was the second guy to take that extra step.
So St. Mary's continuing what they've done all season. They score on their first possession, go up 8-0. It with 9:18 left to go in the first quarter. And if you're the Brighton Bengals, right now you just got to concentrate on having a nice drive, probably killing some clock and scoring at the end of that.
Well, because they run so well. That's the key. They can, and let's not forget, they can throw the ball too. But if they don't need to, they won't. And until Brighton can defensively be a little stronger than that first drive.
Short kick, and it's Gerard Clark on the return. Clark past midfield, the big fella down the sideline, well into St. Mary's territory at the 41.
Well, excellent return by the big tight end. See Clark, nifty moves. You're talking about guys over 270 pounds making moves like this, hitting the sideline. Getting his team in good position in St. Mary's territory. You come into a game like this where both teams have actually played excellent defense in the first two playoff games.
Starters for the Brighton Bengals: William Jean, the quarterback; Vargas and Brown in the backfield. You got Clark and Pinero as the receivers.
This game could be a shootout, or once the defense is settled in, could be a tight game without a lot of scoring, but we'll see.
Bunch formation at the top of the screen. Vargas, the lone back in the backfield here on first down for the Bengals. They got a blitz.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And I believe it's going to be an encroachment on Freeman from St. Mary's, because I think he made some contact. George Freeman.
No.
Trying to blitz. We're going to say that one of the Brighton kids was moving. So that's going to be 1st and 15. That's tough for everyone. You're trying to get your first play from scrimmage to set your drive.
That'll back up the Bengals 5 yards to the 46. 1st and 15 for Brighton. Same formation. And now we have another penalty. I didn't think the Bengals were set, so.
It's going to be a 1st and 20.
5-yard penalty against Brighton. Ball stop.
Oh, no, this nerves or the new setting, just being maybe a little stunned by getting, having that first drive just sort of run right down the field. But Brighton facing the 1st and 20. Let's not forget, both Gene and Bino are available to play quarterback, so starting out with Gene.
Here's the 5.
Okay, it looks like they're going to stay with that original play.
Finally able to run it, and now it's Gene running for his life, and he's almost tripped up. William Gene to the sideline, and we got a flag on the play.
Maybe.
I think that's going to be a hold on Brighton.
Over here near me, yeah, it's definitely on Eric.
Complete pass. There's a flag on the
No,
play.
it's a hold. Coach, I think we got a hold.
Yes,
Yeah.
tough situation for Brighton. We're talking about going backwards. I mean, they
Damn it.
2 back-to-back 5-yard penalties, and now as Gene tried to prolong the play and make something out of nothing, one of his teammates is going to be called for a holding penalty.
So that's 20 yards and penalties now for Brighton.
We're negating Clark's. Oh, he declined.
Looks like they declined that. They wanted to take the down, so it'll be 2nd down and 20.
We're moving in the wrong direction. Pat, 22 came, okay?
It'll be 2nd down and 20 now for Brighton.
He's coming.
So that bunch formation was going to be a
Hybrid.
pass,
Look,
but
look,
they
we
went to
got-
the opposite side of the
So now
field.
four's
So the
in a
bunch is
snake,
on the
and 22
the
is
short
going,
side.
yep. There is no, you're right, you're right.
Now on 2nd down and 20, they run the option over the right side to Eric Brown, and he has nowhere to go as he's bottled up by the Spartans.
Will's got to run at him. Yeah.
We talked about the St. Mary's defense, 2 shutouts in the first 2 playoff games. You can see why, coming out to
Yo,
take away any
George Freeman and Bobby Reynolds with the tackle.
space. You have the defensive end for St. Mary's. A lot of these players play it both ways. That's Patrick Henry, so junior, 6'4", 240.
are you going to take out?
Moving like that to get to the sideline.
No question. He had a 76-yard touchdown as a tight end earlier in the season, so you know he can move. Over the middle, looking for Clark, and if you throw it too high for him, it's too high of a pass.
I was just going to say, Clark's big, but it wasn't that big.
Punt.
So because of penalties, Brighton unable to get anything going offensively after the good return from Gerard Clark, so they'll be punting the football.
You know, because we had it on his side, and 4 stayed on the backside exactly. 5, 8. That was a high snap.
End over end kick for
Good
Brighton.
punt.
Very
Good
good
punt.
bounce
Dude,
as it
There
skips
you go.
towards
Good
the
job.
end zone. Inside the 5, it'll be down at the 3, so a very good punt there for
Pat,
Brighton.
Talk to Kevin. Yeah, he's got to down the punt. Like, don't just watch it roll into the end zone, kid.
That Quincy Taylor down there to down it. Pin St. Mary's back inside.
You see some Brave fans dealing with the elements here tonight. They look warmer than I think they should right now because it is very cold here. It's probably in the low 30s, possibly high 20s, and with gusts of
the
gusts of
winds.
wind is,
Right, that's
is really
Right.
what's damaging everybody here tonight. So certainly any fan who's here tonight for either St. Mary's or for Brighton, very much appreciated that you're here.
Robert, still not set.
Very big commitment from those people. On 1st down for St. Mary's, it's Johnson trying to get to the outside, slips a couple of tackles,
him up.
and then is brought down right around the 7-yard line.
1 yard loss.
So a 4-yard pickup on 1st down for St. Mary's.
Calvin Johnson on the quarterback keep.
Watch Johnson, safe play, no handoffs in there.
With the tackle.
Chance for a tackle in the end zone. Sapp that time just couldn't wrap him up.
8-yard line.
Chance here for Brighton to sort of flip the field if they can force a punt by St. Mary's.
Here you see Calvin Johnson for St. Mary's, a 2016 Catholic Central large MVP, Central Catholic large MVP last season as a running back. Now at the quarterback position for St. Mary's on 1st down, they get the carry to James Brumfield,
Quarterback keeper.
and he picks up a couple.
He's going to him.
Much better job to close it down. Good coming across. Christopher, Sakai Christopher, first guy there in the hole.
Is it 3rd down or 4th down?
Okay, it's gonna be
All right.
3rd down and about a little more than 1.
Hey,
So
here's the quarterback keeper. Here it
yeah,
is.
safe
Here it is.
play is Calvin Johnson. Talk about
Whichever way
him.
the motion goes,
3rd and 2 for the St. Mary's Spartans. Man in motion. They pitch it up the middle, and Brighton had him. And I think he got the first down by about a half a yard. That was a good stand for Brighton. But
I'd say a good, excellent individual effort. And watch here's the pitch. Like you said, Pat, right there they had him, but kept the legs churning and was able to get enough the first down, keep this drive going for St. Mary's.
So first down there for the St. Mary's Spartans.
So those inside backwards, right?
Now at the 15-yard line. On first down, the handoff to Scott in the backfield.
Okay,
he's dropped for a big loss.
Okay, Pat, that's the adjustment you're seeing from Brighton, because that's the same play they had that St. Mary's ran 2 big runs. That time, defensive end came across, linebacker filled, get him right in the backfield. Good job. That was Devon Powell. Excellent job by Powell. First time St. Mary's been thrown for a loss.
Hey, let's see what we got. We're good.
Second down and 13 now for St. Mary's. Man in motion. Looked like there was some early motion again. This is a big carry, but a big hit there for Brighton. As Jose Vargas getting in on the action. That was Freeman, the fullback, with the carry.
Again, first man through. Was able to get into the secondary.
Okay. Watch fullback dive, keeper.
So another 3rd and 2.
Yep.
And they marked Freeman down at the 23-yard line, so it is a 3rd and 2. St. Mary's has to get to the 25 for a first down. The handoff again, and nice cut back up the middle here for Marlon Scott. No, that's Brumfield to the outside.
It's all speed now, Pat.
Eric Brown trying to chase him down, and he's going to
good job by Brown.
Bring him down right around the 28, but a big-time pickup there for James Brumfield.
That's what St. Mary's has done this all season. No matter what part of the field they're on, they can break a huge play. That tight formation, one cut in the hole right there. You're in the secondary. Now, right of your screen, you're going to see Brown come up, has a bit of an angle. He's the last Brighton player to have a chance to take him down.
59-yard run there for Brumfield. First down for St. Mary's at the 28-yard line. It's Brumfield again looking to get to the outside. Now makes a nice cut. Now that's Johnson with the carry. Calvin Johnson drilled right around the 5. Another first down for the Spartans.
Yeah. Johnson, we talked about him switching from tailback to quarterback this season. You see his excellent running ability. 195 pounds and cut back. Looked like he was going to possibly get in, but a couple of Brighton plays. Vargas.
He's got no help. Quincy's getting rolled
along with Clark.
He's too high.
Spartans now with a 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Again, it's Brumfield in motion. It's Johnson again with the carry. And Johnson towards the end zone. Touchdown. No, he is short at the 1-yard line.
So stepped out at the 1.
Very, very close. If he actually dove, he probably would have gotten past that pylon.
I think he thought he was in, but I'll tell you, this St. Mary's team, they're attacking Quincy Taylor this entire drive for the most part. I mean, Taylor was our most valuable player last week against Latin Academy, but I'm not sure if he's standing up too high or not able to move, but this will give you a good idea of what's going on. You have 3 blockers in front, so the defensive backs have to come up.
Oh, no, quarterback.
And on the keeper,
Johnson.
It is Johnson who punches it in for the touchdown. So 2 quick touchdowns to start off the game for St. Mary's as they're on top 14-0 here in the first quarter.
Safest playing football. Little bobble slightly with the snap, but it was able to bring it in and score.
7-play, 97-yard drive for the St. Mary's Spartans. And it was capped off by that 1-yard touchdown run for Calvin Johnson. That's his 20th rushing touchdown of the season. Spartans now looking for the 2-point conversion. And they hand off to Scott, and he stretches in for the two-pointer. So once again, the Spartans able to convert after the touchdown. They're now on top 16-0 here in the North Division 7 sectional finals.
Flat, fellas, looking flat.
Let's go with a two-point conversion. 41 left in the first quarter.
You see it again, Scott. All they do is look for any kind of opening. Clock actually hit him around the 3-yard line, but again, all these running backs, they're big, they're poised, and they're confident. I mean, confidence is a major part of what they're doing.
No question. A lot of these guys played together a lot last year as well, especially Brumfield and Calvin Johnson. Folks, down on the field is our sideline reporter, John Skudris. He's got an update for us. John, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. Offensively for Brighton, we saw in the first possession 3 penalties already, 2 of them accepted. In their victory against Latin Academy last week, despite the big triumph, they did have 2 long touchdowns called back due to penalty. It's something that Coach Abraham said he wanted to clean up. Something clearly was not cleaned up on that first possession. We'll see if they can do that later on.
Thanks very much, John. Ball fielded right around the 25. Nice return here for Brighton once again as they make their way up to the Brighton 40. Good return there for the Bengals. Number 22, Mark Leon with the return.
Well, if it was jitters for that first drive for Brighton, hopefully they've gotten it out of their system now, being down 16-0. Try to get themselves back into their regular offense.
Well, we know they want to run the football, and once you had those penalties, that sort of took the run out of the equation.
And they had a pass play called before the penalties even happened, but they're trying to catch St. Mary's off guard a little bit. Let's see what's. Okay, so
Bengals now going with Pat Bino at quarterback. Yep. We knew this was a possibility, and William G. not 100% healthy, so they go with Bino here on first down, and Vargas with the carry. He lost the football.
Ball came out.
And it was St. Mary's who recovered. So things go from bad to worse for the Brighton Bengals as Jose Vargas, who's usually pretty sure-handed, lost it on that play.
You see it, the late handoff. Oh, well, it
was poked away.
Yeah, he didn't get it. Yeah, didn't get it directly, and then had it poked out.
Bobby Reynolds with the recovery for the St. Mary's Spartans. And right now, Brighton, who prides themselves on their defense this season, is going to have to come up with a big stop here to try to stop the bleeding.
I'll tell you, one of the things that look in those 2 drives for St. Mary's, for some reason, the inside linebackers for Brighton, they're slow like a step behind. I don't know if they're being fooled by the ball fake or what, but they've got to do a better job of pursuing the football.
Now on first down, St. Mary's hands it off to Brumfield. He spins out of a tackle. Brumfield back up the middle. He's going to go in standing up for a touchdown. James Brumfield.
Yeah, but the worst part of that play, Pat, is the safety for Brighton just gave up on the play. Watch. Right on your screen, you're going to see, not sure who it is, but right there, the safety just stopped playing.
Eric Brown.
Yeah, you can't do that in any situation, never mind a sectional final.
So tough goings right now here for the Brighton Bengals as they are now trailing 22-0. And they will be looking to tack on. St. Mary's will be looking to tack on the 2-point conversion. They hand off up the middle to Freeman, and this time Brighton's able to come up with a stop.
It's only the second time they've been able to come across the line of scrimmage and throw St. Mary's for a loss, but Spartans for St. Mary's, total control. Brighton has done everything wrong. The only thing they've done right, they got 2 very good kickoff returns.
That's
Other
right.
than that,
and then that play just now.
Yeah, everything else has been downhill. I mean, it's some of the body language and that safety just giving up on the play. It's
tough to see.
We're in the first quarter.
No question. I think if you're Brighton right now, you do have your 2 big tight ends. Do you just start trying to get it to them, maybe throw it to them a little bit, get some explosive plays going?
That's exactly what you got to do. And even if it's not an explosive play, you have a much better chance for a first down.
No question.
Brighton's just got to get something done on offense so they can feel like they're in the game. Right now, they don't feel like they're in the game.
Another low kick this time from St. Mary's. It's fielded at the 25-yard line. Here comes Brighton with another good return up to the 40. And once again, it's Leon or excuse me, Judea Freeman with the carry.
There you go. Good job to get by the first tackler and
Eric Brown on the
a
return.
little over the 40-yard line. But
Matthias Healy.
we've seen both quarterbacks over here. I think Gene's going back in now.
In on the tackle.
That's Bino again.
Who is that?
First and 10 Brighton, ball from their own 41-yard line.
So the Bengals are going to stay with Bino here on first down. Brighton with the football once again at their own 41 to start off this possession. Now in a spread formation. It's Bino looking over the middle again for Clark, but the pass was too far in front of him, and it falls incomplete.
Simple slant, right to left in the middle of the field. He was open, but Bino again. This is the problem when you're down 20-0. Just get so over anxious. Decent protection, and Clark is overthrown again. I mean, it's hard. The hardest thing is for a coach to tell your players settle down because they're so shook. They're down 22-0. They haven't done anything right.
You're at this big stadium. You're in a playoff game.
But the best advice is settle down, play your game.
Now on second down and 10, Bino looking to throw the screen.
Pass.
They get it to Vargas.
Oh, good block.
Jose picks up just a yard there on second down as he makes his way up to the 42.
For some reason, the left defensive end for St. Mary's is getting pressure on every pass play.
And Eric Brown with a nice cut block.
That was a nice block.
Gain of almost 2 on the play.
So it'll be third down and 8 now for the Bengals.
Go back to that play you were talking about, Pat. One of the tight ends can slant. Bino has got to take his time, get it there so they can get a first down to keep this going.
No, it's not smart. They're not big enough. They're not big enough.
Again, another spread formation, jailbreak blitz, and St. Mary's comes up with the sack. Getting in there for the quarterback knockdown was Enyai Falayi.
And it was a delayed blitz. Faye took a step, one count waited, then there was no protection on that side in the backfield, so Brighton will have to punt again.
Ball from the Brighton 34-yard line.
You can sort of see that there are some plays open there for the Bengals. They're just not hitting them right now.
I mean, well, the two passes overthrown to Clark were definitely open.
Somewhat high snap. Spiraling kick that's going to trickle out of bounds right around the 36. And that's where St. Mary's will take over for their fourth possession of the ball game. Their last 3 have resulted in touchdowns.
Well, I'll tell you that defensive ends for Brighton have got to do a better job of setting the edge, but also for some reason the linebackers, I don't know if they're misreading the keys or if they're just a step behind, but you're not seeing the kind of pursuit we're used to seeing from Brighton's defense.
Yeah, we see a team like St. Mary's that like to get to the outside. Brighton with their
That's
two
their
big
whole
defensive
game.
ends.
That's their whole game.
You would think they'd be able to funnel them up the middle. St. Mary's currently with 265 rushing yards here in the first quarter.
Oh, that's all they've done is run. They've run up and down the field. I mean, they have a 98-yard drive.
97-yard drive.
97-yard drive. Yeah.
We got just about a minute 30 left to go here in the first quarter. Minute 35.
The referee's talking to he actually talked to both huddles. I'm not sure if there's some yapping going on down there. He wants to have that to stop.
Now on first down.
Yeah,
that was two-men in motion again.
Yeah.
Flag on the play.
And it's one of those things where, I mean, St. Mary's, they're running so well that if the play's coming to you, you're anxious to get out of your spot to get the ball. There'll be a 1st and 15 for St. Mary's. One of the few things they've done wrong.
A lot of their plays, they're based on timing, and I think one of the backs is supposed to move right at the snap, and one of their backs continues to kind of go a little bit early.
And the guy in motion ends up being the lead blocker. So
that's one thing about these wing backs as well.
Nice design. Brighton might want a timeout. Yeah, Brighton's going to take a timeout on defense.
So Bengals call timeout, 133 left to go here in the first quarter, and right now Brighton just has to do something to stop the bleeding here. They made a nice defensive effort on that last 2-point conversion. That's probably been their most positive play so far here in the first quarter. If anything's going to happen for the Bengals positively, Alan, right now, you got to think it's got to start with their defense.
Oh, no doubt. They've got to play better just so they can feel like they're competing. I mean, right now they're just getting run over, and nobody likes that feeling. Brighton has a couple of younger players out there. This is their first time really getting beat like this in the first quarter. So. But again, I think I'm just surprised that St. Mary's is doing so well against Quincy Taylor. Taylor, we've seen him a couple of times this season. He's usually able to come across and funnel running backs inside, but it's not happened so far.
First and 15 now for the St. Mary's Spartans from their own 32-yard line. Nice little cut back up the middle here for Marlon Scott as he's tripped up at the 39.
Yeah, he got the penalty yards back.
And then some. Picked up about 7 on the play.
Okay. So all these runners that look for that first opening, and they're very similar. It's amazing to have 3 runners who almost have like the similar running style. See, Brighton, they're a little lackadaisical. They're not getting themselves set right.
On first down, man in motion is Brumfield. They had him in the backfield, and now Brumfield with a nice cut back up towards the middle, and he's brought down at the Brighton 46.
And Brumfield, the ball carrier.
It's just amazing to me. You have a tight formation. Watch Brumfield again. Wedge looks for the opening. When I say confidence, it's almost as if he knows there's going to be an opening. It's just a matter of, am I going to find it? Vargas was able to get him from behind, but again, another first down for.
Put Clark at the nose, get Robert out the game.
Now on first down for St. Mary's. They're running over the left side. It's Scott who got wrapped up right around the 42-yard line. So a good tackle on the outside there for Brighton. That could have been a big play.
It was on its way to being another big play. You're right, Pat. Pops outside. Again, they beat the defensive end. That time it was Gerard Clark. They have an injured.
No, that's Brumfield is 9. That's the other one. It's the kid on the right side.
That's Scott, Marlon Scott.
Yep, that's
who's
who is was it 22? Is the other guy?
So Scott, who got tripped up on that play, down on the field here for St. Mary. Certainly, if he has to go for any extended time, that's going to be a tough loss.
But again,
you got so many other
somebody
guys.
else. I'm just going to say somebody else. Does that mean more carries for Johnson
and Brumfield? Right.
I mean, it's
that kid Freeman, the fullback,
has
had some nice carries this season so far too. While we got the time, folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly go to our Facebook page, search for Game of the Week in Boston on Facebook. A lot of good links to every game we've done this season are up there. A lot of good stuff up there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV, and if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW.
Yeah, one of the coaches just talking to Gerard Clark one-on-one during this brief timeout. I'm sure they're talking about, listen, we want you to be aggressive, but you can't be out of control. You've got to come across the line of scrimmage so you can funnel the player back into the pursuit. That's not been happening.
Right.
It's not been happening on either side.
Yeah, coaches often talk about outside contain. When you're a defensive end or an outside linebacker, you're supposed to force things back up the middle and not necessarily make all the tackles. And
to be honest with you, Pat, it's for young players, it's high school players, it's tough.
You want to make a stop.
You want to make the tackle. Plus, you see the receiver. I mean, you see the running back, rather. You see him right there, and you think you can just slide inside, but he's going to plant his foot, go right around you. Then you're leaving your cornerback out to dry. You just mentioned that Vargas has 5 tackles so far. He's a safety.
Right.
These are all running plays. You don't want your safety.
You don't want your defensive backs being the leading tacklers.
That's the formula for disaster.
There you see Marlon Scott coming off the field. Looks like he hurt possibly his ankle or his knee. We'll see if maybe John Scooters can get an update for us.
It's a tough break for him. Wow. He had 78-yard rushing already. Tough break for him.
Hey, we got a timeout, fellas. Hey, coach.
And that is going to do it for the first quarter here at Manning Field in Lynn. It's all St. Mary's so far here in the North Division 7 sectional finals. They are on top of the Brighton Bengals, 22-0. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we will have the second quarter here on Game of the Week just after these words. Don't go away.
Green red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red pants, green pants. Oops.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Manning Field in Lynn for the North Division 7 sectional finals. St. Mary's and the Brighton. Right now the St. Mary's Spartans on top 22-0. They have the football at the Brighton 43-yard line. Make that the 42-yard line, so it'll be second down. At about 7, and it's Calvin Johnson. He's wrapped up in the backfield by Gerard Clark.
Good play by Clark. Let's watch it again. 15, left of your screen, comes across. That's a change. They put Clark actually inside. Took him off the defensive end spot, put him inside as a tackle.
Shit, I don't know, Renell. Whatever they were in.
So third and 13.
Looks like a 6, dude. No, it looks like a 6, my man.
Third and about 13 here for the St.
watch.
Mary's Spartans. They have to get to the Brighton 45, make that the Brighton 35 for a first down. And they run the sweep to the outside. Big time pickup here for St. Mary's as they make their way down to the 32. Another first down for the Spartans that time.
There's just no containment.
That was Josh Mateo with the carry.
He came in. It looks like he's limping back. Yeah, see defensive end getting beat again.
Pull Takai to the side. Be like, dude, you work out so hard to be like this, man. Like, what does all this time in the gym mean if you're going to stand up?
Yeah, it's a Takai Christopher that time who was trying to play defensive end got victimized for that first down.
Now they give it to Brumfield on first down. He's got a nice run up the middle this time, breaking tackles down to the 22. And after that play, our sideline reporter, John Skudris, has got an update for us. John, what's happening on your end?
Got a late
Quick
flag.
update on injured St. Mary's running back Marlon Scott. It is a lower body injury, a right ankle injury. They did tape it up. He was jogging on the sideline moments ago. All anticipation is he'll be back out there shortly. Guys?
Personal foul against Brighton. That's going to take the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Take his stuff off.
First down, first and 10, St. Mary's.
He can get on the bus right now.
Off the Brighton 11-yard line.
1, 2, 3. Hey, Renell.
So
6 or a 5?
late hit penalty on Brighton gives St. Mary's excellent field position now at the 12-yard line. And they're looking to score once again.
Quarterback.
Now on first down, it's Johnson with the carry. Calvin Johnson looking at the edge. He's going to waltz into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Mary's, their 4th touchdown of the half.
Again, there's no containment at all. His quarterback, he has his two wing backs in front of him to block. You don't even see a Brighton player, and there's no pursuit from the linebackers out to the edge.
Yeah.
The defensive end can't force the action back inside. So, I mean, at halftime, Brighton defensively may just have to move some kids around because there's got to be a way for them to get some containment because the defensive ends are getting murdered. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
No question. Now St. Mary's on the 2-point conversion. They were unable to score it last time. Brighton can't get to the edge. 2-pointer is good. Mateo puts it home for the Spartans.
Just falling down.
Well, we knew coming in, Pat, that on paper St. Mary's one of the most impressive teams in the Eastern Mass, in the entire region. And what they've done here in the first half,
They're showing
talk
us
about
why.
being ready.
No kidding.
This is unbelievable.
Because we look at, Brighton is probably without question the best team in the city of Boston.
Oh, no doubt. This year, yeah.
And they've been for the last probably decade, been one of the top teams in the city. And St. Mary's right now, their execution is very good. With this double wing offense, they just seem to be able to handle the ball and run.
The blocks at the point of attack have been just unbelievable. I mean, the Brighton kids are standing up too high. I don't know if they're doing that because they were trying to peek in the backfield to figure out who has the ball or what, but they're getting victimized.
With a short kick, and this time it's Brighton who's got to field it right around the 34-yard line. I think that's Clark again, trying to break some tackles, but he's brought down at the 36.
And I mean, Brighton, you'll see Clark again is able to pick it up, and he'll shed a couple of tackles here to get a bit of a return. Team got to be shell-shocked, totally.
No question.
I mean, they've been up like 30-0, like scores like this, but to be on the downside, I think head coach Abraham's got to be, as bad as the defense has been victimized. He's got to be just as upset about the offense because they can't keep the ball to keep that St. Mary's offense off the field.
No, they have a lot of guys who play both ways, but they're defensively they've got to be exhausted how long they've been on the field. Now on first down, carried by Jose Vargas, and he plows forward up to the 43.
We gotta go to that 4-4.
Brown on the carry. Bobby Reynolds.
You see Vargas' best run of the first half here for Brighton so far is Vargas. We talked about him in the open, spotlighted him with his speed and quickness, but the Brighton offense has just had such a tough time.
So 6-yard pickup there on first down. It'll be second down and 3.
That's got to be second down and 8
Second down and 8 now as Brighton is going to be backed up.
Okay.
Ball start against Brighton.
So you talk about concentration. The right tackle and guard just didn't hear or forgot what the snap count was because they both were definitely out up out of their stances.
Okay. No, it's not. But can you go talk?
I mean, we always talk about one big play can help them get them back in the game, but it's not. Doesn't seem like it's coming anytime soon.
Second down and 8 now for the Bengals. Bino got to get rid of the football. Throws it over the middle. It's almost picked off. Ball fell short. Bobby Reynolds had a chance.
Again, another blitz comes in and doesn't get a sack, but forces a bad pass down the middle. So now it'll be 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 actually.
So another 3rd and long now facing the Brighton Bengals.
Okay, Clark split out to the wide side of the field here to the right. He's run that slant pattern a couple of times so far.
Here it comes. Get it out. Yep.
Mary's with the blitz over the middle, and he was looking for, looked like Eric Brown was running sort of a post route. They also had another receiver short of him, too.
See, part of the problem, Pat, is that there's been pressure on Bino every time he goes back to pass. So he's a little antsy. Then by the time he identifies a receiver, he's just off target.
Yeah, I need 2 more. I need a gunner. Oh, I need somebody in the backfield.
So Bengals, the Brighton Bengals will once again have to punt the football.
I need somebody. There you go. That's it. Stop. No, bring it back. There you go.
Another high snap, and that time
Was
it's
that
a short
deflected?
punt.
Looks like it might have been deflected.
And that's going to stick right around the 47-yard line. And St. Mary's will have excellent field position for their second possession of the second quarter.
Ends are on the tight end.
Just a 16-yard punt that time for Brighton.
Brighton's punting down. St. Mary's bringing it over. First and 10. Off their own 47-yard line.
Inside tackles take A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, it's going to be more of the same. I mean, it's a tight formation. They have no receivers split out at all. They don't need them. Johnson's the key to it all.
That's true. We haven't even seen St. Mary's passing attack yet. I mean,
And
Johnson,
we won't.
Johnson has 8 touchdown passes this year. It's not like they don't throw the ball
Takai
at
and
all.
Sap. Takai and Sap. Takai got to walk up, dude.
On first down, it's Johnson back to throw, and he is almost brought down in the backfield. Now Johnson tucking it in and running. He just picked up a couple, and he just got back to the line of scrimmage. So,
You know, Pat, you talked a couple minutes ago about chance for a big play defensively. That was the chance. They actually had it covered well, and Quincy Taylor couldn't wrap up. Just couldn't wrap up John. Johnson's one of the best running backs in the state. So let's make sure we mention that. But still, Taylor needed that kind of a play.
yeah, Takai Christopher almost came up with a stop as well.
Takai and Sap have outside. Yo, I need Takai to walk up to the line and take outside. Takai, walk up. You have outside contain.
So now on second down and 10 for St. Mary's. Brumfield in motion. They hand off to Mateo. He lost the football. Ball's on the ground.
And
Brighton has recovered
Wow.
at the 37-yard line, 38-yard line. That could be the break that the Bengals needed.
Well, we've been getting on Brighton's defensive front all game. Let's give some credit this time. Robert Pimentel, 74. He broke everything up, created the fumble.
Yeah, and Ray Sapp with a big hit
there
as
you
well.
Go. So Brighton's offense with a chance to try to get into the end zone. Christopher recovered the fumble.
So Brighton with a first down now at the St. Mary's 38-yard line. Without question, their best field position of the ball game. 2 backs in the backfield. The handoff to the first man through. And not much going on there on first down for Eric Brown. Might have picked up a yard.
We got too many old linemen watching here.
You see on the play trying to cut outside, but forced back inside. That's exactly what Brighton has not been doing. Their defensive end for St. Mary's forced everything back to the middle of the field, right into the scrum. So it's.
Hey, just on that.
I mean, Brighton has, the thing about it is Brighton has players just as fast.
No
but
question.
They just.
I don't know who else we can bring in. Maybe
The execution just isn't there right now.
But like, we got to keep it fresh, man. Hey, that bubble screen is there, Abe.
Second down and 9. Now they pitch it over the left side. Eric Brown couldn't handle the pitch initially. Plows forward.
Run by
Tough
Brown.
run here
Excellent
for Eric
run.
Brown.
Wow, he got a first down.
Getting up to the 27-yard line. That's going to be a first down for the Bengals. What a tough run there from Eric Brown.
That was a frustration run from Brown because you see, watch the trouble with the pitch here. Okay, the ball bounces. Luckily, I guess it comes right back to him. Does a good job, little jump cut there, and this is what you're talking about, Pat. He gets wrapped up by 3 or 4 Spartans and still is able to move the pile to get a first down.
These running backs for Brighton aren't huge, but they run.
They run hard and they have breakaway speed, but they just got to feel their way back into the game. That's their first down from scrimmage. It was the middle of the second quarter.
I can't remember the last time Brighton didn't have a first down until midway through the second. Now on first down from the St. Mary's 26. They run the bubble screen out to one of their backs. Nice big play there on first down for Brighton.
Nice block by Gerard Clark. Big fella used all of his bulk on that one.
On the catch and run.
I'm going to try to see how Gerard's being covered, man. He's doing a
And
good job.
7 on the play.
So Brighton, like you're saying, they're by far their best chance to put some points on the board. There's that screen for you.
Yeah, that was Jose Pinero with the catch and run. And he made his way up to the 19. So a 7-yard pickup there on first down for Pinero. Second down and 3 now for the Bengals.
Looks like Taylor has single coverage. Wide side of the field, opposite side.
They run the option again. This time it's strung out to Brown. Nice little cut. And then he's wrapped up in the backfield. 2-yard, maybe 3-yard loss there for Brown.
St. Mary's had that. They guessed, and they guessed correctly because they actually blitzed from the side where the ball was going. See, there's the pitch, but the blitz is already there. So they already have the cornerback coming up, the linebacker's filling. That's what's interesting. St. Mary's, they'll blitz with sort of like not worrying about what's behind them. They don't. I guess they don't think that Brighton's going to be able to get a pass away before they can get to the quarterback, because they're really leaving the middle of the field wide open when they blitz like that. So he's open again. Same thing.
Now on third down, Bino towards the corner of the end
nice
zone.
catch.
It's
Wow.
caught by Gerard Clark at the 5.
Well, I'll tell you, talk about a play. We talked about Gerard with his height and his hands and his bulk, but he makes this play all by himself. He's double covered.
First and goal, Brighton. Ball from the 4-yard
You know, it's actually the defender fell down right in front of him, but Clark kept his concentration, giving Brighton a chance to start to breathe again. I mean, if they can get this in the end zone. Well, the way that Brown's been running, you may want to try him.
Clock runs under 5 minutes here with about 4:45 left to go in the
Brown's
second quarter.
the deep back.
And we got some early motion on the Bengals. It's going to back them up to the 9.
Boy, false start's going to.
That's what, their 4th false start penalty here in the
Well,
first
I
half?
tell you, in the bad, it's just talk about lack of concentration. That's you get a big play. Yeah, there's 64. Yeah, that's Pimentel. Wow. Well.
So that'll back the Bengals up to the 9. It'll still be a 1st and goal for Brighton. Got to think you got to try to get it up to one of those big tight ends again.
Well, that's.
Pitch it over the right side to Brown. Eric Brown fighting his way
You
forward
gotta
up
like
to
his
the
run.
2.
Yeah, he's the guy. We talk about how players sometimes can raise their level and start to stand out. Brown's done that so far. He's the only one who's sort of staying into this and keeping his head. Gets it back to the 2-yard line. Makes up that penalty yardage plus a couple more yards. So let's not forget, Bino can run himself, actually.
No question.
If need be.
So Brown gets the Bengals down to the 2-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and goal now for Brighton. And now it's Bino on the rollout. And he's going to try to get back to the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go for Pat Bino.
The other player I mentioned, Bino can run, but again, see the defensive ends for St. Mary's, they're doing what they do. They come across in a straight line. They don't come in an angle. They come across straight. You can't get around them. So force them back into the middle.
They are providing that outside and contain that the Bengals weren't in the
that's
first
exactly.
quarter.
It's amazing how opposite it is.
Third and goal now for Brighton. They're certainly in 4-down territory.
No doubt about that at all. But
one good thing about this drive, too, the clock is down to about 2:30 left to go here in the second quarter. On 3rd down, they try to go up the middle with Vargas. Did Jose get in? He's close. Well inside the 1, but I think he's right at the goal line.
Very, very close. You see the St. Mary's players saying, no. They want to keep the shutout going throughout the playoffs. They got their first 2 games shutouts. They want to keep it going.
And St. Mary's has outscored their opponents 90-0 through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, and now we get a lineman down.
Jamie Roldan is on the turf. He got caught up in that pile as you had Brighton players trying to obviously get the touchdown and having that left leg looked at.
Jamie Roldan has been hurt for most of the season. He actually came back against O'Brien in the last regular season game, and that was the first time that Brighton's entire offensive line was healthy.
Was together, right. Now he'll definitely be coming out of this game.
No question. That's too bad. And there you see a good illustration of how windy it is out here at Manning Field. We're up here in Lynn, not too far from the ocean, and I think tonight it doesn't even matter how far you are from the ocean. It is windy and cold everywhere here in New England with this huge cold front coming through.
I mean, November, I guess the winters decide to come all at once.
No question.
Bring the cold and the wind. So
Roldan's going to be walked off the field. I think he's going to be out probably for the rest of the game with the way his ankles look.
It looks like a right ankle, probably a right ankle.
We're playing St. Mary's.
Okay, 4th down, but they are inside the 1, so
That's ridiculous.
I'm not sure if it's going to be
They're too focused on the external factors.
looking at maybe Bino. I mean, like you said, Brown's run's been the best runner, the hardest runner so far.
Hey, what we got?
So 4th and goal now for the Bengals. This is a big spot for them if they can
Dude, the ball
get a score here, give this offense a little bit of momentum just before halftime.
It's like literally.
That's exactly what you want to do.
2:09 left to go here in the second quarter.
Coach is definitely going to cut you down in the middle, man. Without a doubt.
4th and goal for Brighton. The handoff up the middle,
Coach, he got to be in, man.
and
Ball was taken away.
Mateo does recover. I thought Vargas crossed the crossed the plane of the end zone there.
He was in, man.
Yeah.
Like, he was in.
Ross Mateo on the strip.
Let's see if. Okay, you see.
St. Mary's
The
ball.
ball rolled out.
That was Devin Powell.
Ball rolled
That was
out.
Devin Powell,
Yeah.
the big
Trying to
bruising
get the
back.
big fullback in there. Try to use some more size. And
Yeah, he was chopped down right at the line.
really frustration continues for Brighton.
So no touchdown there for the Brighton Bengals. And now St. Mary's
Tell the kids to look at the scoreboard.
is going to be faced with a 99-yard drive here. Now they have a 97-yard drive to
No,
their
they
credit already.
they gave him the return on that fumble recovery.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
They gave him the return.
So Mateo brought it up to about the 9-yard line. And now on
first
first
man
down.
through. Fullback again.
Yep, Freeman with the carry. Good safe play there
He's
for
only
St. Mary's.
he's only had 2 carries, but both of them have been power runs. Both plays he knocked over one of his own teammates, get him out of the way.
Yeah, he's bruised his own lineman. Never mind the Bengals.
7 on the plate. 2nd down and 3.
So the Bengals going to look back at that drive. That
Ball from St. Mary's 18-yard line.
the penalty was a killer.
No question.
Right now,
2-yard line, and then kick back to the 7.
Now on 2nd down and 3 for St. Mary's. And once again, they pounded up the middle
All right, hey, we need to stop, fellas.
with Freeman. And he's dropped right around the 19, so it'll be 3rd and a short 1.
This is
For
going
St.
to be.
Mary's.
This will be Johnson. This is his area. He'll have the two running backs in front of him as lead blockers.
3rd down and 1. Ball from the 19-yard line.
They've been going to the right mostly, so but he's capable of going either way. But see what the formation looks like. You're going to have. Okay, the fullback's going to. He'll slide. Looks like it's going to go right.
Hey, Clark needs to get down in the 3-point stance.
3rd and 1
There
now
it
for
is.
St. Mary's
There
is
it is.
Brumfield with
Right
the carry.
there.
And
Yep.
Brumfield finds the edge. Big carry for
Yep.
him past the 30.
Hey, wait,
Well, they just went back. Essentially, they went back to what they did in the first quarter, attacking Quincy Taylor.
Represent St. Mary's.
So watch 81. 81's trying to fight off two blockers, but again, the edge is not set. Looks like Quincy might have got a little shaken up. It's one of his own teammates that have rolled over on him.
33 seconds left to go here in the second quarter.
Hey,
I'll tell you, this is not
I mean, if you're
anybody expected at all.
No question.
Anybody. I mean,
No question.
St. Mary's being ahead is not a shock, but a shutout in the first half plus 30 points up defensively. That's
As we mentioned before, Calvin Johnson, who was a running back last year,
right.
was
The running back.
conference MVP. They moved him to quarterback. but
31 touchdowns last year.
That's right, 31 total touchdowns. Brumfield was in that backfield with him as well last year. Brumfield, the decathlon champion here in the state of Massachusetts. They got some athletes back there.
Like I said, here comes left side.
Another nifty run that
So you
time
see-
from Calvin Johnson.
He's showing us all of his running back ability, from the quarterback spot.
And we got another Brighton player down in the backfield.
See, the Brighton players are just having a tough time reading the keys, and so they're all in chase mode basically because
Hey, Renell, you got to put Vargas
boy, it's
at
just
linebacker
second
there and bring in Kevin at safety.
Brighton player down.
Okay? So Vargas at linebacker.
It's hard to see exactly who it is, but
Contain the goddamn linebacker.
there's been no containment at all, and that's been the problem. You run a double wing, and you're able to beat the defensive end or the outside linebacker. It depends on how you play your defense. Sometimes your defensive end is the guy. Other times, if they allow him to rush, the outside linebacker has to get out there and push everything back to the middle. But haven't had either one happening for Brighton so far.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry. That's fine. That's what I meant. Corner.
Bengals still dealing with an injury down on the field.
What's up, man?
There's Ray Sapp, who's going to be helped off the field. He's one of their best defensive players at the linebacker spot. Yeah, it's certainly going to be a tough loss defensively for the Bengals.
Well, he actually had good pursuit on that play. So you're right, to lose him is – and pursuit has been their problem the entire first half.
You see Coach Abraham out with Sapp and the trainers. You got to think Coach Abraham's just hoping to get it to halftime
actually,
right
it
now.
might be lucky, man. It actually might be a cramp. The way he's walking it off himself, so – yeah. I think it might just be a cramp. So.
Even though it's cold, you still cramp up.
Oh, no doubt.
You almost have to hydrate more when it's this cold and it's this windy.
And you don't even think about it either.
Right. You think you're fine because you're trying to run around.
Yeah, you're feeling like you're fine, but your muscles are saying something different.
Kevin's in that corner. Yep.
So after the injury timeout, 25 seconds left to go here in the second quarter.
Hey, Clark got to get in a three-point stance, man.
Brumfield again, the man in motion. They run it up the middle to Freeman.
Clark should be running.
That was Mateo with the carry. Brighton say that they recovered the fumble.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the half.
Yeah, they came out late.
Oh, shoot.
The ball did come out, actually.
It might have been a D tackle.
See if there's some kind of penalty called here.
So what's
I think it was possibly an offside.
Offside on the white. 5 yards. First down.
So 5-yard penalty there on the offsides. That'll move St. Mary's up to their own 47-yard line.
Yeah.
With 12 seconds left to go here before the half. I mean, if I'm St. Mary's, I'm just kind of kneeling on it here and going into the half. I mean, I know you can score, but you are possibly giving Brighton the opportunity to get the ball back, essentially.
Well, I tell you, I mentioned confidence earlier. This whole St. Mary's sideline, offense, defense,
fan base.
Exactly right. They just fly it high. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
No question.
We
got an undefeated
They've
season on
seen
the
this
line,
story
too.
before, okay? Like we mentioned, was it 48-0, 46-0?
Run.
They hand off to Brumfield, and James Brumfield makes his way into Brighton territory at the 45.
Another first down.
And the clock will stop on the first down. We'll see if St. Mary's runs one more play. Gerard Clark in on the stop for the Bengals. And now St. Mary's is going to call a timeout with 2 seconds left before halftime.
They took a timeout, dude. We're in a 4-4. Go 4-3-4.
So St. Mary's is going to try to maybe put up another score here before the half. On top 30-0 over the Brighton Bengals here in the North Division 7 sectional finals. And right now, if you're Brighton, you just want to make a stop here, prevent them from scoring, just go into halftime and regroup.
And just try to regroup. You're right, exactly. That's all you can do. I mean, because the problems that they've been having are so glaring, they're so obvious. You know, not being able to stop the running backs from getting to the outside, not putting enough pressure. The few times that they have tried to pass, not putting enough pressure, and it's just frustrating for Brighton to come out here to Lynn, make it all the way, like you said, to the sectionals final, and have a disastrous first half like this.
And Brighton started off the season 0-2. They went outside the city. They tried to have those games against North Reading and another outside the city opponent
get
to
the kids
prepare
ready
for this game.
this kind of situation, right? Okay, let's.
You can hear the wind howling through our field mic right now as Calvin Johnson back to throw. Going down the middle of the field. It's caught by St. Mary's. But as long as they just make the tackle right there, Brighton He's going to go into the half, not allowing a score there for St. Mary's, but Brighton trailing the St. Mary's Spartans 30-0. Here you see the replay.
See it again, the big tight end for St. Mary's goes up in between two Brighton defenders.
So at the half here, St. Mary's leads Brighton 30-0. And if you're the Bengals right now, what are you going to talk about at halftime?
Well, I mean, obviously you start on the defensive side. You know, what's happened at the defensive end spots and the linebackers mainly. You got to figure something out. I don't know if it means putting Clark and Taylor in 3-point stances. Because it's just something has to happen. Because sometimes when you have your defensive end standing up, they're actually a target for the blockers. It's easier for them to create an angle to get to them. Maybe if you put them in a 3-point stance, it'll be tougher for the blockers to figure out, okay, which way is he going? You know, is he angling in or is he going out to contain? But that's what has to happen defensively. And like we said, the defensive backs are making all the tackles. You can't win like that.
No question.
Yeah. And then on offense, I mean, they showed a little bit of a spark after they got the turnover, got back down to the 2-yard line, the mental mistake. With the penalties, I think that's what prevented them from scoring. But
no question,
we've got to be able to. Brighton's got to be able to do something offensively to get the team back in the game, because right now their body language is not good. They're walking around with their heads down. They're not feeling like they're competing. They don't even feel like they belong here. That's how they're playing. So halftime. I mean, I think this is where Coach Abraham brings out his toughest halftime speech.
Sure.
Because
he's going to have to dig deep for that.
I'm telling you, 30-0 is 30-0, no matter how you look at it. And St. Mary's is an excellent team. They run they run that double wing so well. They block for each other. The running backs, like we said, they all have similar styles. They look for the opening, and like I said, it seems to me like they're running and they expect an opening. Yep. As soon as it's there, they shoot right through. We've seen big gains. We saw that 97-yard drive they had, where we thought Brighton had them backed up, but didn't work out that way.
Yeah, we'll see if Brighton can regroup. They certainly have a lot to talk about here at the half. Our sideline reporter John Skudras is down on the field with an update. John, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. Just spoke with head coach Matt Durgan for St. Mary's. He really echoed the sentiments of the broadcast. He said that they were doing a fantastic job on both sides of the ball. He would like to see his offensive line get a little bit more of a consistent push from play to play. That's saying a lot considering they already racked up over 300 yards of rushing in the first half alone. I asked him about Marlon Scott. He said that Marlon would continue playing if this game were a little bit closer, but he is unlikely, at least questionable, to return due to the score of 30-0 at halftime. Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, John. So good to hear that Marlon is not hurt too significantly. He could come back if the score was a little bit closer. But Coach Durgan wants his offensive line to get a little bit better push.
Well,
pretty good here in the first half.
I mean, the point he's making, and I watching that, I understand what you're saying. If you look back at some of those runs, the lead blockers were making the key blocks.
Yeah, they were clearing the holes.
All right, and what Coach Durgan is saying, he's looking for perfection. I mean, if he gets more of a push in the middle from his offensive line, then the fact of the matter is, once the running back does go to the outside, I'll be wide open. There'll be like no one there. And so he's just saying, that's the way you draw it up. Like if you have little magnets, you're moving them around. Like, you hit him, and then our guy just goes, untouched.
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
I guess when you're undefeated, you have to have that kind of expectation. So Brighton Bengals trailing at the half here, 30-0. Now, we mentioned we're here at Manning Field in Lynn. They renovated this place a little less than a decade ago. It looks phenomenal. There's an elevator that comes up to the press box, so we love that. But the Brighton Bengals actually didn't have a home field for a long time. We've shown this package before. We're going to show it again. The story of a daily return for Brighton.
Let's go 5 RB counter, double team right there, up to that backer.
Brighton Bengals head football coach Randolph Abraham is a stickler for details. His play calling is complex.
Trips right open, zip. 99 jet.
And his instructions are precise.
I want you guys to blow this kid up because we need to get movement. We get this movement, then look at the size of the hole, then climb up to the backer.
But before the 2016 season, Abraham's coaching style wasn't the only complicated aspect of the Brighton Bengals football program. Since the 1980s, the Bengals have been a football gridiron orphan, after their former practice field next to the Charles River in Brighton fell into disrepair. The Bengals then bounced around to different practice facilities until 1998, when they settled on Cassidy Field in Cleveland Circle, a less than ideal location for football drills and scrimmages.
That field is just, oh my God, it's just it's unbearable. You know, holes, you know, we have geese feces all over the place.
There's like a lot of rocks, holes, there's like hills, it's uneven.
The lines were never straight. It's just dealing with the elements. It was just not an ideal situation.
To make matters worse, private spaces for the Bengals to change into their pads were few and far between.
And when I played, we changed outside. Whether it was rain, snow, doesn't matter, we had to change outside, you know, in the middle of, you know, the field.
Home games were also an adventure for the Bengals. Each Friday, Brighton would have to leave school hours before game time and make the crosstown trek to Boston English, and then years later, White Stadium.
Well, we're very thankful to all the city, teams and White Stadium for allowing us to play. And we would have to leave kind of like right after school and try to beat the traffic, wait a few hours before the game, hope to get a locker room because they're doing double headers.
Playing games at White Stadium, it's old, it has history behind it. Everybody that played there, my dad played there, but I just wanted to play on our own field, a place that we can call home.
But over the last handful of seasons, word began to trickle through the Bengal community that a brand new field was in the works.
I didn't believe it. Quite honestly, I didn't believe it until last year, around November. Coach Abraham told me, hey, it's real. And I'll be honest with you, I still didn't believe it until I came out here physically and I saw them doing construction.
The Brighton community teamed up with Simmons College, who began leasing the Daly Field Athletic Complex, the former home of the Brighton Bengals. Simmons then financed a $13.5 million refurbishing of the Daly Field Athletic Complex that they would then share with Brighton High School after the completion of the renovation.
And it turned into an amazing partnership between Brighton High School, Brighton Community, and Simmons College. And well, Simmons is doing a great job. First of all, I want to thank them for putting this together for us and just working with us. They have a maintenance group here. They take care of the field.
And in the summer of 2016, the Brighton Bengals coaches and players were able to walk onto their very own home football field for the first time.
Oh man, I shed a tear. I did. It was beautiful. For putting in all this work as a player, as a coach, we finally have a place to call home.
It got to a point where I just come out here with just shoes and socks and just start running over the field because I was just excited.
The new Daly Field comes fully equipped to serve the needs of the Bengals football program, whether it be the new locker room for the Bengals to occupy.
Here, we're changing inside with his heat now, running water and bathrooms.
With a state-of-the-art organic turf that Brighton now practices on.
No rocks, no slipping on nothing, no hills. It's just flat, nice and even.
What I was told, I went to several meetings at Simmons, is there's a padding right underneath the turf, the grass, and it actually prevents the concussions.
It's supposed to reduce concussions something like 50%. And that's why, again, it's great practice in here as opposed to Cassidy. That's where we would have our concussions at practice, where here it's like the kids can go and get taken to the ground and they bounce right back up because of the foam underneath the turf.
In addition to its brand new amenities, Daly Field sits less than a mile from Brighton High and provides an accessible venue for members of the Brighton High School community.
When we go out fundraising, people ask us, where's the field at? And we used to say at White Stadium, but now we just say at Daly Field. Now a lot of people from our school can come out, people from the community are coming out. We have these stands packed.
Now that we're here, people coming home from work, go home, take a walk, 5-minute walk down the street, you're right here.
But as these Bengals relish in their newly minted football residence, they will be sure to remember the decades of players and coaches who had to sacrifice before them.
On opening night, when my brothers came out and they saw that the dream was reality, they couldn't believe it either. They were happy that we finally had a place to call home.
Many of them don't even, a lot of the new kids don't know what it felt like to be in geese, poop, and practice football, but this is everybody's field, all the Bengals.
Nice job! Nice job.
There you have it, Daly Field there for the Brighton Bengals. We were there last week for a playoff game, and the best thing I think about that whole story is the partnership with Simmons, because Simmons and the Parks Department and the Brighton Bengal Brighton High School rather. They all kind of come together to manage
it's
the
model.
field.
It's a model. And we mentioned, I think, last year, hopefully, with all the colleges in Boston, maybe
because there's endless.
There's more that can happen. Because
Sure.
those kind of partnerships, that's what's making this that field over daily work for Brighton and for Simmons. So
no question.
Well done. And we should play that a lot because, I mean, if the message can get out, then that may stir some other possibilities.
No question. Some more partnerships, which is always needed in the city of Boston. Let's take a look at the halftime stats here from Manning Field.
I don't know if
first
I
up,
want to look at these.
Yeah. You wanna
Well,
look at
Brighton,
these?
there you go.
There's the
Eric
Brighton
Brown.
stats.
We mentioned about Brown. Brown's been running hard. 21 yards, 5 carries. Vargas, even with his speed, not much, no room to run, just 6 yards. Receiving clock had that 122-yard catch to put them into scoring position. Pinero 1 for 7 yards passing. Bino 3 for 6, 31 yards. And Gene only had 1 attempt. That might have been why the quarterback switch was made because it was a poorly thrown pass that could have been picked off.
Let's take a look at the St. Mary's stats. Those jump off the page a bit.
Calculator, right? You got Brumfield with 173 yards, 12 carries, 2 touchdowns. Scott, 78 yards on 70 carries. 11 yards a carry. Receiving, Henry has the tight end had that one nice catch right near the end of the half for 24 yards, and that's the same. It was thrown by Calvin Johnson, 1 for 1 for 24 yards. So no need to pass for St. Mary's, so I don't think we're going to see any more passing. As long as they have control of the game and they run what they've been doing, it's pretty amazing, pretty impressive. I mean, we saw their other scores, very impressive, but you can see the pride the defense has because they wanted to keep that shutout. They did not want Brighton to get in.
Yeah, you see some highlights of James Brumfield in the first half there. 173 yards on the ground and 2 scores.
Yeah, he's been all of them have been impressive. It just happens that he's the one who's gotten the ball when they've been able to get against the end zone. He had the 2 touchdowns. You see the speed. He gets run down on this one, but he has another one where he just outruns all the linebackers and the safety. And you see this play right here. That's the one that we didn't like. And I think that Brumfield, he's been, I would say, the best of the very good running backs for St. Mary's because they've been dominant.
Yeah, we've talked about Johnson a lot before the game, but Brumfield had 11 touchdowns coming into this one. He's now got 13 on the season. We can see why with his first half performance. Folks, going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the third quarter of the North Division 7 sectional finals here from Manning Field and Lynn right after these words. Don't go away.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Here we go. We're going to go out there in the rain. You're going to get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh, yeah. Yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
With the groove, show proof, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Where you step it swiftly with me, keep up. If not, just stop, pop a spot, put your feet up, read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spell of me. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch, or jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show me what you got, keep it hot like the heater. You thinking you a treat, cause you're sweet, but I'm sweeter. Leader of the pack, cause they all stay behind me. I'm old school, you don't skip tracks, you rewind me. Find me, working on my craft.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Welcome back to Manning Field in Lynn for the North Division 7 sectional finals. And we are just about set to go here for the third quarter at Manning Field as the Brighton Bengals trail the St. Mary's Spartans 30-0. And right now, Brighton just has to string together a couple of good plays here. I mean, they haven't been able to really put together a drive. The closest they got was to the goal line, but that was after a turnover. Short kick here from St. Mary's. Brighton's just got a pounce on it at the 36-yard line. And we're not even sure.
Yeah, Gerard Clark.
Okay, he did jump on it. I mean, it looked like St. Mary's was almost able to get that football.
Well, again, the concentration, the first line, excuse me, for Brighton just stood there as if they didn't realize it was a free ball. Well, let's see if Brighton can get something going offensively. They did have one good drive. Then like you said, that was after the turnover. They forced a fumble and recovered it. Splitting Clark out wide, hoping that he has single coverage.
Now from the 37, they hand off to Vargas, who fights forward past the 40 up to the 41.
One of their best runs on first down so far tonight.
And that's really been their problem. They've had penalties and negative plays on first down.
Able to slither through to get a 4-yard gain. I mean, when you said 30-0, it just sounded funny,
right?
But
now on second down, they give it to Brown, and Eric has nowhere to go. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Might have gotten a yard on that play. This will be 3rd and 5.
Oh, Bino just kept the ball.
Bino,
yeah,
sorry.
It was a broken
the
play.
5 and the 2 look a little
right,
similar.
Yeah, you're right. It was a broken play because he looked like he wanted to hand off, but Brown just didn't move from in front of him. Frustration sort of continues because basically what you're doing, you're throwing away a down. This is this overly aggressive defense by St. Mary's Spartans. There's a pitch.
They pitch over the left side. Nice little cut there from Brighton.
Yeah,
and that time it's Brown up to the 46. I think, they mark him down at the 45. So he's going to be 2 yards short.
What's interesting is they actually ran into the blitz, but this time Brown, like you said, made something out of nothing. Cut right there, gets away from one guy, and then look at the pursuit. 6. Well, there's 5 right there for the tackle. It's going to be a 4th and 2.
So Bengals right now
Brighton's
playing
gonna
against
go
a
for it.
four-down scoreboard, I think you could call it now, and I don't blame them. Now on fourth down, they had an early snap there as it looked like there was some confusion between the center and the quarterback about what the snap count was.
Well, it looks like a couple of Brighton players expected to see a penalty, but that's crazy. 4th down and 2. He was trying to change the play. Brighton was trying to change the play, and the ball got snapped.
So St. Mary's will take over at the Brighton 42-yard line after the Bengals were unable to string together any type of first downs there in their first possession of the third quarter. As there you see,
two
Coach
mishaps.
Randolph Abraham.
I'll tell you, 2 mishaps on the first, on 2 of the 4 plays.
I need to kind of walk up. He's still back. There you go. That's a little bit better.
Now on first down, the handoff to Mateo, and he's bottled up in the backfield. And then you see the Brighton defensive front getting some penetration.
Good job that time for Berry, Trey Jackson Berry. You see him.
Jackson Berry with the tackle.
Yeah, you saw Clark get that outside contain that we talked about in the first half.
Well, I'm sure that had to be the first thing they talked about at halftime. Had to be.
Both of them? They're going to be, right? Okay.
And Brighton's got to take advantage of it. The natural tendency, you're up 30-0, to relax just a little bit. So the St. Mary's side may not be as sharp.
Well, it's Brumfield again. We had a great first half, and he's tripped up at the 36. Looked like that was going to break for a big play, so Brighton able to trip him up.
Well, again, no one hits him at the line of scrimmage. You see Vargas get knocked down. And good game, make it a 3rd down and about 4.
Watch the center, watch the guards.
St. Mary's now with a 3rd and 4 from the Brighton 36-yard line.
Watch the quarterback.
Brumfield in motion. The handoff to Brumfield, and he follows his blockers well up to the 29. So another first down here for St. Mary's.
It could be on Eric Brown.
A late dead ball penalty again.
Personal foul on St. Mary's.
Against St. Mary's.
So it's a dead ball penalty after the play.
So point of the foul.
So I think it's a.
Well,
I think it's a first down, but they're going to back them up.
Right, exactly.
So it'll be first and 10 too,
right.
but they're going to black them all the way up.
Yeah.
To the 44.
Yeah, dead ball penalty. Yeah.
Why did the chains move? Why did the chains move?
There you see Calvin Johnson, quarterback for the St. Mary's Spartans. Continuing this outstanding season for St. Mary's, coming in at 9-0, undefeated. Looking to continue this run.
I'll tell you, they've shown
to the state semifinals. They've shown why here.
Right.
Against Brighton. It's Brumfield again. This time he gets tripped up by Jose Vargas.
Now see, for Brighton, what you're seeing, in that case, Vargas, the safety, is coming closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. He's number 1, and you're right, Pat. If he didn't make that tackle, the sideline was wide open.
So it'll be 2nd down and 5. Now for St. Mary's after the 5-yard pickup there from James Brumfield. Brumfield, oddly enough, he's from Dorchester. He's a Boston kid who comes up here to school at St. Mary's. Brumfield now in motion. The handoff up the middle to their fullback.
First man through. Yeah.
And didn't quite see who got the carry that time.
You're right, Pat. There's been so many of their running backs used.
Nino Ekavara.
Okay.
With the carry.
So it's going to be a 3rd and
1 now for St. Mary's.
Gain of 2 on the play. 3rd down and 1.
Look at Johnson getting out there, and you gotta wonder, okay, over the summer what what the coach said to Johnson. He said, "We need you to play for quarterback."
Right.
He just come off a record-breaking season as a running back.
Now on 3rd and 1. And once again, it's Ekavara who gets the carry, and he gets the first down for St. Mary's. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he's the league MVP, over 2,000 all-purpose yards,
combined
31 touchdowns, total touchdowns.
And
but because of the way this offense is constructed, the
he'll
quarterback
get
gets a lot of
That's
a lot
true.
of play. So,
not as much as he got last year, but he'll get a lot. Liken him like to a point guard in basketball who can score.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, run the team, and when we need you to score, we know you can do it.
Sort of the Kyrie Irving of St. Mary's this year. Now on first down, it's Johnson back to throw, escapes the tackle from Quincy Taylor, then makes a nice little cut out of bounds.
I mean, it's amazing the quickness he has. The little slide step that he uses. And he's, again, 6'1", 195. This is a good angle here. Excellent camera work. You see, he's just sliding. And so everything you're doing is reaching. You can't get a good shoulder pad tackle on him.
We got another penalty here on St. Mary's.
I think we're seeing St. Mary's just lose some concentration because this was not happening in the first half. So that's going to push them way back.
So Spartans now back to the Brighton 48-yard line. Be a second down and 25 for the Spartans.
We don't got time for that right now.
They tried to go to the air on that last play. We'll see if they try to do it again. Brumfield in motion. They hand off to Mateo, this time on the scissor play. And he's going to be wrapped up at the 41. But a 7-yard pickup there for St. Mary's on second down.
He was one step away. Watch it again. He's one step away from popping this right back to the middle. See there, you got to wrap up. Even that's clock that time. Well, usually does a good job wrapping up. But he ran out of that.
There you see defensive coordinator Renell Jean down on the sideline.
No, he's frustrated. We talked to him last week after the
Latin
Academy game, and he knew that coming into this one,
this was going to be a big challenge.
He saw all the same scores that we saw, and all those numbers in terms of total yards rushing.
3rd and 18 now for St. Mary's. They try to roll it with Johnson. He got strung out to the sideline, so he's going to be short of the first down, but he picked up a big chunk, and it's going to be a 4th down play. Another flag here at the very end of the play.
This is a little. Okay, watch the. You see.
Dead ball, personal foul on the white.
Personal foul on Brighton. Didn't quite see what happened at the very end of that play, but it's going to be a first down.
Just gave him a first down.
That was Brighton's opportunity to come up with a big stop there, but the penalty negates that. So.
There's got to be a lot of talking out there going on because there's no action. There's no like pushing or
we
slapping.
don't
None
see
of that.
any extra contact.
That'd be all
at the
talking.
End. No late hits or anything like that. So St. Mary's now with the football at the Brighton 21-yard line. And they hand off up the middle. Big stop in the backfield that time. It was Quincy Taylor coming up with the tackle. Brumfield nowhere to go. Lost a yard or two on the play.
Taylor cut through that time. Was able to get his shoulder into the play.
1 yard loss on the play, so it'll be second down and 11 now for St. Mary's. Third quarter's moving pretty good. 2:45 left to go.
You force a 4th down, and what was it, 4th down and like 13, give a 15-yard penalty. It's like
just a backbreaker. 2nd and 11, they go to Brumfield again, and Brumfield gets to the edge down to the 11-yard line, and we got another flag after the play. And we also have a Brighton player down in the backfield.
Right here.
And Quincy Taylor does get up. That's going to be holding on St. Mary's.
There's a hole. One of the lead blockers had a hole. Watch the right side of your screen. We might be able to see it.
Yeah, we see it right there.
Right there.
Fistful of jersey
that's
there for Mateo.
That's the hold.
Tell Takai to get lower. He's standing up. I know he's
Again, from the field, you can see it again. There's the hold right on Vargas. So I'll make it a 2nd and 15. Another chance to get a stop. Although now that crazy penalty, not only did they get a first down, basically put St. Mary's in 4-down territory.
Right, so it'll be 2nd down and 15 now for St. Mary's after that holding penalty.
Get Kobe ready. Or Jacob at the end.
And they hand off to Brumfield again. Brumfield,
good job.
Good
Good
open
tackle.
field
Good
tackle
tackle.
from Jose Vargas at the 22. Pick up a 4 on the play
Watch
for
this
Brumfield.
again. One of the few one-on-one tackles. Right at your screen. Number 1 comes up. Good job. Wraps up.
Where's the flag?
Yeah.
No, there's no flag. I don't see a flag.
James Brumfield now over 200 yards rushing, actually at 209 for this game. He had 175 in the first half, so we could expect him to get to 200 pretty easily.
Yeah, Quincy Taylor just went out limping. He's a little shaken up.
Yeah, he got banged up a couple of plays ago. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. St. Mary's with the football at the Brighton 21. 3rd down and 10 now for
First
the
man
St. Mary's
through.
Spartans.
Okay. Good job. Yeah, see the Brighton defensive linemen, they, for whatever reason, instead of going forward from their stance, they're going up. Once they stand up, they're at the mercy of the blocker. They're just getting wiped out.
Yeah, Nino Ekavara with the carry that time.
Hey, we need to stop, fellas. Renell, if you don't see something you like, take a time out, Renell. If you see something you don't like, Renell. Yeah, this is 4th.
So it'll be 4th and 7 now for St. Mary's.
Quarterback keeper coming your way. No, coming my way.
Brumfield in motion. They hand off to Brumfield again. Another nice carry.
Good job.
But he's short of the first down, so Brighton will take over. Another flag. This one's going to be on Brighton.
Got offside on Brighton. There was some movement before the snap.
Not sure if
Let's
we
watch
can
it again.
catch
See if we can see. There's some movement right there. Okay, they're in the middle of the line. So I don't know why the flag came out.
Yeah, why didn't it come out earlier?
That was unusual.
Looked like that was on Robert Pimentel.
Yeah.
Get Robert out the goddamn game, man. Get Jacob in there for Robert. That's like his 3rd.
So that'll give St. Mary's
4th and 2.
another chance at this 4th down opportunity. 4th and 2 for the Spartans.
This is pitiful. It should be your ball. Hey, watch fullback dive. Quarterback keeper. Fullback dive.
Ekavara, the fullback. You're on 4th and 2. Man in motion is Mateo. They give it to Brumfield, who spins out of a tackle. Brumfield still on his feet to the outside. Does he get in? Yes, he does. James Brumfield with his 3rd touchdown run of the evening.
And I'll tell you, Pat, as well as St. Mary's has been playing, that was a gift touchdown. The whole drive was a gift. I mean, they had a 4th down stop, penalty, kept it going twice. And now Brumfield, this is an excellent effort. I mean, he's been a good runner all day anyway, but still, you're in a playoff, you're in a sectional final game, and you're making all these mental errors.
You see another look at it as Brumfield with a beautiful spin.
I like this field camera. This is great. See, you can see how that effort is to spin away, and by the time Brown gets over there, he's already in the end zone.
Brumfield now with 232 yards on the ground. Big stop there for Brighton on the 2-point conversion as Devon Powell comes up with a hit in the backfield. But
very small victory at this point. I mean, you get one time you defeat the blocker.
Emphasis on very.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So St. Mary's Spartans.
I'm as shocked as the players are. I'm telling you, there's no way I would have thought that Brighton would come out and lay an egg like this. This is
so very impressive drive there from St. Mary's. That's the end of the third quarter. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the fourth quarter here on Game of the Week right after these words.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his
I
backpack.
can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org.
Welcome back here to Manning Field in Lynn as St. Mary's leads Brighton 36-0 here in the North Division 7 sectional finals. Brighton on the kick return makes their way up to the 49-yard line. Takai Christopher with the good return close to midfield.
The robot with a 15-yard return.
You see, as the ball bouncing around, finally corrals it. Makes the first guy miss and then is able to hit the sideline for a return close to midfield. So let's see if Brighton can get some pride scores. We talk about this during the season when we've had, and we've been lucky. We only had a few blowouts, but when we do have them, it's always a matter of let's get on the scoreboard. No football team ever wants to have a 0.
These guys don't want to wake up tomorrow and see a Boston Globe article with the 36-0 score. Bino gets picked off. That's number 7, Aaron Burns, or Burris rather, and Burris is brought down inside the 30, and things go from bad to worse here for Brighton.
But you know what it is? The linebackers really run first.
See pressure?
Yeah, Pat Henry in there on the defensive end spot.
Yeah, the way the ball was wobbling, I wonder if he got a hand on it.
Yeah, I think Henry might have even hit his arm as Bino was trying to complete the throw.
Yeah.
So another.
I'll tell you, I can't think of a game that's gone so wrong in every single area.
Here's another look at it. There really wasn't any contact there on Bino. I think it slipped out of his hands.
Slipped out of his hands, right?
Yeah, it slipped out.
And with that little wobble.
Yeah, I mean we've done playoff games where a city team has played, an undefeated team like this. I remember Latin Academy played that great Nantucket team in the Super Bowl, and I think it was a shutout. And we sort of went into the game saying this has a chance to be a blowout.
It looks like uneven, yeah.
Despite the records of these two teams, you just don't think of Brighton as a team that would give up a score like this because of how tough they are, the talent they have, the coaching staff, how good they've been throughout the season and last season. As Mateo gets the carry that time for St. Mary's.
Let's watch this again, and more of the same. You see the entire side is being collapsed. There's nobody there. The safeties have to come up to try to make a tackle.
Yeah, Vargas,
Brown that time.
Vargas and Eric Brown have been the ones.
On who? I think it's on Eric. It's on Eric.
Personal foul, dead ball penalty here for Brighton.
Kevin.
I think you're starting to see the frustration out of the Bengals now with some of these late penalties.
Oh, that last drive, that was the ultimate in frustration when they literally kept the drive alive for St. Mary's with those two bad penalties.
I think they're going to take Calvin Johnson out now.
Right, just going to take a timeout.
Derek O'Leary, the sophomore quarterback for St. Mary's, will be in after this Brighton timeout.
Yeah, Brighton timeout. This timeout is just for Coach Abraham to
sort
tell
of a
his
cool
guys,
down.
Let's show some class and let's finish the game up.
No question.
Being out there, you're talking and getting stupid penalties makes no sense.
Without question.
So, and we gotta, because they're not just representing Brighton; they're representing Boston.
The entire city.
Yeah.
Any coach who's in the playoffs
league,
always says that.
Exactly. Right,
folks. Next week, we will not have a high school playoff game, but the following week, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, we got the middle school football championship.
Little guys.
Over at White Stadium, the future of Boston high school football. That's going to be Tuesday, November 21st. It's at 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday before Thanksgiving over at White Stadium. It'll be live on Boston City TV. If you got Comcast, it's Channel 24. If you have RCN, it's Channel 13. They usually have 2 middle school games for middle school football at the end of the season, the township and then the championship, but it's just one game this year, middle school football championship, Tuesday the 21st, so make sure you tune in for that.
I'll tell you, they've been some fun games in the past, 4 or 5 years, and Believe me, those little guys do not care what the weather is.
No, they will play the
bother
blizzard.
them a bit.
Oh, they love it. Whether they're at Harvard
Some
or
of them
White
come
Stadium.
out in the short sleeves.
Right.
It's amazing. Like, we were out there a few years ago, Harvard Stadium. The wind was coming off the river.
Always
It was
windy over there.
Unbelievable.
And the
But
kids are running around like
they
they're
had
at the
a
Super
ball.
Bowl. Yeah, it was great.
Every time the game's over, they want to play more.
That's right. Yeah.
Can we
run
over
this
yet?
back?
Can't be over. Isn't that third quarter?
Yeah. Derek O'Leary, as we mentioned, now in at quarterback for St. Mary's. As Calvin Johnson's night looks to be over.
He's done his job.
No reason to keep him in there. Now on 2nd down and 4, they have some collision in the backfield.
Even on a
but
broken
Mateo
play there, St. Mary's makes something out of it.
Still with a nice carry inside the 10.
The new quarterback turned the wrong way, ran into his running back, but well, that's the regular fullback. See, he runs into the quarterback and still makes something out of it.
I don't give a shit, man. It doesn't matter when you're up. You can say whatever you want.
We have some brave St. Mary's fans here.
Gotta be family, right?
Yeah, it's got to be family of guys who haven't played
girlfriend.
yet.
Oh, girlfriend.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
could be
yeah.
of the sophomore quarterback. Who knows?
Oh, there you go.
Waiting for him to
All
get
right.
in there.
That's when they'll come out
That's
of the blanket and just clap, right?
Yeah. That is dedication. Good to see that. Fans braving the weather once again. 1st and goal now for St. Mary's. They pitch it over the right side, and the ball carrier for St. Mary's gets down to the 5. That was Connor Donahue.
A lot of backup players, same system. But again, you look toward. I mean, this is what you call just extra value for the coach. I mean, you're talking about a playoff game. You can put some of your underclassmen in for next season.
Sure.
I mean, you know who you obviously next game is going to be the playoffs, but you know all your regular guys going to be there. But even though it's only one drive, doesn't seem like much. This is valuable stuff because Brighton's keeping all their starters out there.
Hey, fullback dive, quarterback keeper.
Yeah, certainly you're getting this sophomore quarterback some playoff experience here on the big stage in the sectional finals.
Handoff.
Handoff again for St. Mary's. That's Donahue towards the end zone.
Dove. Let's see if.
And did he get in? No, he did get in. Donahue.
Yeah, I was just going to say it because if he didn't get in, it was going to be a turnover. But he's one of the backups also. Let's watch to see if he gets in. He's going to put the ball out after he gets hit. He's going to get grabbed right here. His knee was down. His knee was already down. Yeah, his knee was down, but they'll give him the touchdown.
So Connor Donahue breaking the pylon.
See,
there.
and the thing about it is, it's because his knee was down. It should have been a turnover because it should have been a touchback. The ball bounced out and out of the end zone. Boy, 42-0.
Well, they don't have replay down on the field, these referees, so that
call
they're
cold,
stand.
too. They want to get out of here.
They want to get out of here, get into a
warm someplace, right?
Restaurant, house, drinking establishment.
There you go. All three, right?
All of the above. Probably somebody's basement, right. Now on the 2-point conversion, and the quarterback.
Nothing happening there.
O'Leary gets brought down to the backfield as there was a broken play for St. Mary's.
Again, you see O'Leary trying to make something out of nothing. Looks like he turned the wrong way again.
So St. Mary's now with 465 yards on the ground this evening. That has led to their 42-0 score here in the North Division 7 sectional finals. And if you're Brighton right now, you just want to get some more of those positive plays.
Get a score.
Get a score on the board. Make the bus ride home a little bit easier. And Brighton recovers at the 43. As that was Ray Sapp with the recovery.
I mean, this situation, Pat, it's almost like the Brighton players were probably in shock the entire game. Because it started with their first drive.
Right.
Just ran down the field, and Brighton's just not used to getting run over like that. First drive, simple play, simple, touchdown, just like that. your first offensive situation, 3 consecutive penalties in your first drive.
Right.
Give the ball back, boom, 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 second touchdown.
Sort of similar to last week when Brighton played Latin Academy.
Right,
When Brighton went down and scored. Latin Academy came down the field, got all the way to the goal line,
and
then was stopped on fourth down,
right.
and all of a sudden Brighton just dominated the game. It's almost like when you don't score after giving up a touchdown.
The emotion just all goes bad.
It's like a roller coaster, shooting down there. There you see the frustration from Gerard Clark.
There's another. That one just slipped out of his hand.
That.
Excuse me. And then he got it so high in the air, the wind took it.
Because we saw Bino earlier in the game, that pass he threw to Clark down inside the 5. That was a dart.
Right.
I mean, he has a very strong arm. But right now, it's just hard to hold on to the football, how windy it is right now. You can hear it in our field mic again, how windy it is down on the field.
If the ball gets too high in the air, the wind's just going to play with
That's
it.
right.
Like when you hit a high baseball in the wind, and either home run or foul.
William Jean back in at quarterback for Brighton. Jean a senior, so I'm sure Coach Abraham wants to get him in there. Jean over the middle, and ball almost intercepted. He was looking for Jose Pinero as 2 St. Mary's players collided. That's Mateo down on the turf, getting up slowly as he collided with Donovan.
They're both going for the interception, and they, like you said, they collided with each other. Friendly fire on that one. Wow. Yeah, he came down on his back. He might have had the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
they
Mateo's
just
going to head
run
to
the
the
clock
bench.
now. That's an incomplete pass, but they're just running it.
Yeah, 6:22 left to go here in the 4th. Clock still running.
Bunch formation, wide side of the field for Brighton.
Oh, yeah.
Jean running away. And the ball is picked off. Jean was looking down the left side of the field. He had to rush it sort of after missing the throw originally, and that's picked off by O'Leary.
Getting some late pressure. Gets away, looks downfield, and couldn't really step into it, but ball is picked off by the safety.
Coach William Jean actually hurt his right leg earlier in the season. It's been sort of tender for most of the last month or so. So it's hard. It's a little bit harder for him to necessarily step into the throws, being a lefty, trying to throw the football like that. But nonetheless, an interception for St. Mary, so they take over at their own 27-yard line with 5:40 left to go. On first down, they pitch it. Slipping down on the turf was Mike Nebo.
You see one of the few mistakes they've made. He just lost his footing. Looks like he has too much tape on him outside of his cleats. Both teams with some backups in there now. I tell you have to think back a long ways to have remember a dominant performance like this, especially in a playoff game with moving out of the sectional on that at stake. That's
sometimes in that first and even second round, you see the 1-8 matchup or
the
2-7 matchup.
They can be blowouts. You expect it in a way,
but a 1 versus 2 like this just is unexpected.
No way you would think this would happen.
You see Gerard Clark getting another stop in the backfield.
It's like we talk about in basketball. A lot of times, if you have a tough matchup, you can, a lot of blowouts. It can happen in football. It's different in football, but I'm sorry, it can happen the same way, and that's exactly what we've seen tonight.
Right now,
well, I'll tell you though, the drive out to Lynn this team, this St. Mary's team, made the drive worthwhile. I mean, the way they execute.
Oh, they're fun to watch. No question.
Those four running backs share the ball, and like you said before, Calvin Johnson, top running back last year, moves to quarterback, and because they run so well, they basically made the game easy for themselves.
St. Mary's now with a 3rd and 15, and they're wrapped up in the backfield once again. Did Brighton recover right there?
Right, looks like it's all backup plays. Let's see the ball.
Yeah, it was a fumbled snap, and Brighton did recover.
There's the ball, yeah.
Looked like it was Pimentel who recovered the fumble there for the Bengals. When we talk about St. Mary's, and next Friday will be the state semifinals where they will advance and play the winner of either Abington or Mashpee. And last year, St. Mary's made it to the
semis. Right,
they lost in the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
To East Bridgewater at 3A in Division 3A. So essentially, St. Mary's actually dropped a division this year down to Division 7, and 2 seasons ago, they lost in the state semifinals to East Bridgewater. They actually lost to Abington in the Super Bowl in the old playoff format back in 2012.
Okay. But in terms of the last 2 seasons, a bunch of these seniors went through that.
They've come ever so close to winning a Super Bowl title. So we'll see if this year is the year for St. Mary. So far, it's looking pretty good with the way they've performed in the postseason. The Mashpee team they're going to face, if Mashpee does win, we've seen Brighton face them before in the postseason as well. As there you see a nice run here from Jose Pinero.
Another first down. Brighton's got to hurry up if they're going to get in because the officials are running this clock. Good run by Pinero. Again, a lot of backup plays for St. Mary's defense.
Just over 2 minutes left to go here in the fourth quarter. Brighton looking to put a score on the board here before the clock hits 0. They give it to Devin Powell, the big fullback, who makes his way down to the 6. Oh,
they got offside on St. Mary's. So that'll cost them 5 yards. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if 42-6 or 42-8 even feels any better.
Right.
I mean, before when it was 30-0, that's different. But
right. It's a lot different saying you lost by 22 rather than 36.
There you go. Yeah.
So Bengals now with a 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Brighton looking to punch it in with Jose Pinero, the deep back. They hand it off to Jose. Loses the football on the way to the end zone. Slips a tackle. Touchdown, Brighton Bengals. Jose Pinero able to hang on to the football and score here with under 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, that ball definitely came out of his hands, but
I think it was like a hot potato.
He was able to get his concentration right. So Brighton does finally get on the scoreboard. You're right here. Watch the ball slide up. Yep. 2 bounces. Good thing about it, he kept moving forward, even though he was trying to corral the ball.
So St. Mary's
shutout
streak, has ended here in the postseason. I'm sure Coach Durgan will say that, well, we got to start another one then.
Yeah.
So Brighton now trying to tack on the 2-point conversion. And the handoff to Powell. Devin Powell gets tripped up just before the goal line. So Powell gets knocked down. Brighton is able to pick up a touchdown here late in the fourth quarter. Here's another
touchdown as you see Pinero. Good job to pull it back in and head to the corner.
So St. Mary's leads 42-6. As we mentioned, they will be playing the winner of Mashpee or Abington. Brighton lost to Mashpee last year in the state semifinals by 1 touchdown. Just 1 game short of the Super Bowl. So
that's what makes it so interesting and unpredictable. You just never know. I mean, teams from different parts of the state. You got Mashpee coming up from the Cape area. We'll see. Yeah, because it might be different. For instance, if St. Mary's gets scored upon first, you'd like to
Could
see
change
how they have to respond.
Yeah, will they have to throw the ball more against a team who is able to?
Good point. But I think that's why you have Calvin
early.
Johnson back there, because Calvin, he didn't have much of a chance to show tonight, but you can tell he makes good decisions. Very poised. So I really think that it wouldn't really matter. If they have to throw, he'll throw it. And, I mean, they're going to have as good a chance. Their defense was impressive. Brighton, it looks 42-6. Okay, so you automatically say, oh, wow, great defensive game. But in reality, Brighton just made so many mistakes, put themselves in bad positions, gifted that last touchdown, okay, with those crazy penalties. So it's a night to forget, right?
Yeah,
November 10th, yeah, Brighton kids are going to black that one out of the calendar.
No kidding. I think St. Mary's just going to kneel on it for the rest of this one. The tough thing about Brighton, too, is I believe at the moment they don't have a Thanksgiving game. So Brighton, this could be the end of their season.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't thought of that. That's right, because
sometimes they'll get a game late,
because
late after the playoffs.
Yeah, most of the other Boston teams do have Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Right. So certainly a tough way to end the season. If this is the last game for Brighton, certainly a tough way for Gerard Clark to end his football career at Brighton. He'll be moving on to Coastal Carolina. Quincy Taylor, I'm sure, will be playing football somewhere next year with the talent that he has. And Eric Brown's a senior this year. A lot of different seniors on this Brighton team. So this could be the end of the road for them in the black and orange. And I think that is going to do it here at Manning Field.
Are you guys going to try up Thanksgiving?
As the Brighton Bengals lose to St. Mary's 42-6 here in the North Division 7 sectional finals at Manning Field in Lynn. What a very impressive performance from the St. Mary's Spartans.
Start to finish.
My goodness.
I mean, what else can you say?
That backfield is
the opening drive obviously set up the entire game, how impressive it was. Just down the field. Anytime a team has over 400 yards rushing, high school game, and a playoff game, that's something to look forward to. I mean, but yet, like you said, okay, as they move on to a team from another region, plays different kind of defense. Obviously, scouts and has seen all these impressive scores.
They won't be at
from
their home
St.
field
Mary's.
either. This is their home field, so
right.
A different setting might change things a little bit. You might lose a little bit of confidence going to somewhere that you're not familiar with. So we'll see how St. Mary's adjusts. But
I think
these
seniors are hungry enough. Like you talked about the last couple of seasons where they had disappointments.
Right.
They want to make up for that.
Oh, no question. With the undefeated season on the line, they certainly want to cap it off with a Super Bowl victory. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have our Game of the Week MVP and our final stats here from Manning Field right after these words. Don't go away.
Days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Got a quarter?
Welcome back to Manning Field in Lynn. At the conclusion of the North Division 7 sectional finals, the St. Mary's Spartans take down the Brighton Bengals 42-6. And we could have probably given two guys the MVP tonight because two guys are outstanding for the Spartans. But, man, if you look at those statistics, James Brumfield had a monster game tonight.
Well, anytime a high school player goes over 200 yards rushing in a game, a high school game, it's amazing. Never mind the fact you're talking about a sectional final game.
Right.
Okay. You're right. 3 or 4 of those backs could have been outstanding play. It just happened that Brumfield, on his carries, he really made the most of the 3 touchdowns. And second effort, third effort, even when they were up 24-30-0, they were still second effort.
Still fighting
his last touchdown, he was actually hit 3 times and still got into the end zone.
No question. He had over 200 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. He is down on the field with our sideline reporter, John Skudris, and the head coach of St. Mary's. So, John, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Here with our hero of the game as well as the coach of the game, both Coach Durgan and running back James Brumfield. And, James, what a performance. 21 carries, 232 yards, 3 touchdowns. You guys are on your way to the state semifinals for a chance to get to that Super Bowl. Talk a little bit about your performance tonight and how great this season's been for you Spartans.
It's unbelievable. I have to give all credit to my linemen. You know, they played against some big kids today, and they showed up, and, you know, I just followed them. We've been working all season for this. You know, this is step one. We're heading on to bigger things. We just want to continue to keep it together and just keep working.
Speaking of that offensive line, you guys lost a lot of contributors. Some seniors graduated from last year's squad, including some depth that you lost. How hard was it for you guys to gel early on in training camp and early on in the season? It seems like you didn't miss a beat from day one.
It wasn't hard at all. We have a tight-knit group, and guys that were here last year, they helped the other guys get to where they need to be, and we all work together to make everything work.
How fun is it to play in this double wing offense that coach has installed? I mean, you guys, you're going left, you're going right, you got multiple men in motion. It's got to be really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Every play, they never know what's coming. So, one time I pretend like I have the ball, and then everyone's coming to get me, tackling me, and I don't even have it. And my guys run down. I go, congratulate them on the touchdown and stuff. It's amazing. I love running it.
Absolutely. Now, you obviously, I'm sure, have folks here that came out to see you guys play all season long. How much credit do you have to give to your friends, your family for getting you here and getting you through every year, the grind of being a football player?
I have to give a lot of credit to my mother because I actually live in Boston, so I come a long way. And my family, they've been supporting me this entire time. I had a lot of family members come up and, show some support today. And then also on the other team, I have to give credit to my closest friend, Devon Powell, number 8. We grew up together, and he was, pushing me to play better all this week, so I have to give credit to them too.
That's awesome. Friendship behind enemy lines, if you will. Great performance from you guys today, James. Go enjoy it with your teammates.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, Coach, what a performance today. A victory that was really never really in doubt from the beginning, though I think a lot of people expected that. Your team all season long has been outstanding. Your third shutout of the year today. Talk a little bit about your boys and how impressed you were from them.
I thought our kids came out and played real hard from the beginning, and give Brighton credit. They also played very hard under the circumstances, the weather, and we got a couple of turnovers early, and we took advantage of them.
Absolutely. Now, Calvin Johnson, your star quarterback, he was actually a wingback, 31 touchdowns a year ago, converted to quarterback this year, never missed a beat. Talk a little bit about him.
Calvin's a very good athlete, God-given ability, made a nice adjustment from running back to quarterback, and he's been our leader.
Absolutely, and that young man is a pretty good leader as well. I'd imagine you're pretty stoked about what you got out of him today.
Our entire senior group has been a great job leading all year. James is an outstanding kid, off the field, on the field. He gives you 100% every time, and we really rely on him. But again, he's a super kid off the field.
Seems like a lot of your guys are. I saw helping other players on the other team up after the plays. A lot of good sportsmanship out there. Now, for you guys, have not won a Super Bowl since 2005, so you're about 13 years separated from that. You got to feel pretty confident in the team that you got and their chances going forward.
We got a big challenge a week from now. We're going to have to play Mashpee or Abington. I'm not sure who had won, but they're both outstanding teams. So we're going to enjoy this for tonight and then get back, and we're going to have to play really well next week.
Absolutely, Coach. Great job today. Best of luck.
Thank you for the
Go get warm, sir.
All right, thank you for the coverage. Thank you.
That's Coach Matt Durgan as well as your player of the game, James Brumfield. I'm John Skudras. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, John. You go get warm, too. Him and all our camera guys are freezing right now, so I hope they can all warm up.
Well, it's starting to thaw out right now.
That's right.
Come in here.
Sure, they try to get near the light.
Exactly. The light always helps. I'll tell you, something about salt in the wound. Brumfield's from Boston.
Yeah, he's a Dorchester kid.
We talked about it during the game. And like you said, one of his best friends is actually on the Brighton team. But give St. Mary's all the credit in the world. I mean, Brumfield was the star tonight, but it just as well could have been any of those running backs. Like I said, depending on which situation, who gets the handoff. And like he was saying, he was laughing about, a couple of times they faked to him. He's getting tackled, and he's laughing because his teammates running down for a touchdown.
No question. It's certainly a fantastic game for him and the entire St. Mary's offense. Let's take a look at the final stats from this game before we sign off for Manning Field here in Lynn. And first off, it's the Brighton Bengals.
Well, for Brighton, Eric Brown, he played hard pretty much the entire game, but just not much to show for. 25 yards, 6 carries. Pinero did have the lone score for Brighton at the end with 19 yards on 3 carries receiving. That one first-half catch by Gerard Clark that actually gave Brighton their only scoring chance in the first half, 22 yards. Pinero had a 7-yard catch. Bano was 3 for 8. Jean was 0 for 3 and did have an interception at the end.
Let's take a look at St. Mary's final stats.
There you go, Brumfield. That tells it all for you. 232 yards.
That's 232, not 2.32.
No, that's exactly. There wasn't enough room to put how many carries he had. So 3 touchdowns, 232 yards, just amazing. Scott, 78 yards.
He got hurt.
He got hurt. That's why he didn't come back. He had that at halftime. You're right. Then the receiving, that one throw and catch to the tight end right before halftime. Henry, the big tight end for St. Mary's, and like we said before, Johnson didn't have to throw the ball because they were running so well. The wind definitely was a factor, so there was no reason to take the chance to throw the football at all.
Yeah, no reason to do that. They were doing so well on the ground, it just didn't matter. Certainly a fun one here today, despite the loss for the Brighton Bengals. Folks, I want to thank our crew who did a phenomenal job tonight, braving the cold weather. I want to thank our fans and all the guys here who supported the Brighton Bengals as they made this playoff run. If you want to watch this game again, folks, you can certainly go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All the games from this 2017 BPS high school football season are up there. You can also go to our Facebook page. That's Game of the Week at Facebook. Search for Game of the Week here in Boston. A lot of good stuff there. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. Next time you'll see us is at White Stadium for the Middle School Football Championships, Tuesday, November 21st. But for right now, we're going to say so long from Manning Field here in Lynn and for Game of the Week. Take care, everybody.